auto shop owner Marie Gluesenkamp Perez. Congratulations and welcome back to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Well, the Seattle Times called your victory the political upset of the year. Why do you think the voters of Southwest Washington said yes to you?
I think that I hold more the values that Southwest Washington does. I know the district. I'm from the district. I live like the district. And ultimately, they chose to send me to Washington to fight for our interests in Southwest Washington and Washington, D.C.
Now,
You know,
go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
yeah, I'm a small business owner. I work in the trades. I live in rural Skamania County. I'm a working mom who struggled to find childcare. I'm a business owner who struggled with crime and navigating regulatory environment. And that just is what Southwest Washington looks like.
Your opponent, Joe Kent, has still not conceded the race. He's raising questions of voter fraud. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I think the numbers are really clear, and I understand that this is disappointing for him. But I'm happy to wait for the Secretary of State to certify the election. But I just think it's really disappointing to see somebody undermine our democratic institutions for political gain.
You've spent the last week in Washington, D.C. for freshman congressperson orientation. What do you think will be among your biggest hurdles as you make the transition from small business owner to congressperson?
Well, I think we're all facing frankly a Congress that is in gridlock, hyper partisanship, obstruction. And I think that my experience pulling together so many moderate Republicans, independents, and Democrats together in Southwest Washington is really going to serve me well here and finding allies and folks that we can work with. I'm already reaching out to moderate Republicans here, of course, folks from my own delegation, to find the things that we all can point to and say, this is an area of common concern.
You're talking to us from Washington, D.C. right now during the orientation week.
Yeah.
What surprised you or what did you learn during your new member orientation that could help you moving forward?
Well, they don't have any big trees here, I will say. I love Southwest Washington. I feel so fortunate to live in such a beautiful part of the country. We've got the good Washington at home, I'll tell you that. But it's relationship building. It's finding folks that are looking to get work done for Middle America, and I think those relationships are what are going to serve me well, delivering for Southwest Washington.
After the attack on her husband, Paul, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has just announced that she will no longer run to keep her leadership position. During the campaign, you said that you likely would not support her as Speaker if elected. That's a moot point now with Republicans controlling the House. What was your issue with Pelosi, and what do you think of her stepping down as party leader?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that we're all hungry for a Congress that looks more like America. It's just time for change. It's time for leadership change, and I support her decision to join me in calling for new leadership.
Do you have any preferred candidates that you would like to see step up as party leader? Hakeem Jeffries has
Well,
been talked about. There have been others who have
y-
surfaced.
y- yeah, everybody's throwing their hat in the ring now. There's a lot of dialogue going on to see who fits the bill. I mean, personally, I would love to see somebody who's got small business experience. I would love to see somebody maybe from a swing district or somebody with small business experience. I think that those would all be great assets in building leadership that understands the issues facing Middle America today.
So you don't have a name in mind right now?
No names in mind, just characteristics.
Pocketbook issues dominated the elections nationally. So what's your take on how to get the economy back on track, especially for your constituents in the 3rd Congressional District?
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do. We've seen really an evisceration of our trade schools. I think I'm part of the generation where we saw our best trade schools get turned into, a lot of computer programming schools. I'm excited to do the work it takes to bring back effective trade and career education to our district. I think that's a long-term solution. I think in the short term, we've got to be looking at doing more to support small businesses. We're still really suffering and losing businesses because of supply chain issues. We've got to support more American-made manufacturing, reshoring manufacturing, making sure those incentives are there. And we've got to support the kids who want to be entrepreneurs, who want to go in the trades.
Now you own a auto shop in Portland. What's going to happen with the auto shop when you spend so much time in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, my husband's home winning Dad of the Year right now, and we're working hard to keep the home fires burning. And we'll be looking to bring on more staff at the shop to fill the role that I was in.
Let's talk a little bit about a big issue in your district right now. Do you support the effort to replace the interstate bridge between Portland and Vancouver? That effort has started up again.
Absolutely. I mean, frankly, if I have the baby in the car with me, I don't drive over the I-5 bridge. It's 105 years old. I mean, that's just unconscionable. Like, I would never refuse to replace the roof on my building. I mean, any seismic activity, and we could lose that bridge. And that's the most expensive option. So, one of the committees I'm looking at is the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, so that I can be an advocate to ensure that that bridge is replaced. And when it's replaced, it's built with Southwest Washington labor and American-made steel.
Now, despite the importance of the race, you didn't get a whole lot of financial help from the National Democratic Party. Do you think that view will change now that you've won the election?
Yeah, there's certainly more interest in supporting incumbents than up and comers. But my real goal is that, one of them is that my candidacy, my effective candidacy, encourages more normal people to run for Congress. We can win these seats because we know our districts. Um, you know, all these people with hedge funds and self funders with trust funds, a lot of those folks weren't successful. What's successful is finding people who reflect their communities and have a track record of community work.
You've talked about reducing prescription drug prices and healthcare costs. What are your ideas on that? What do you propose?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of models for value-based healthcare, preventative healthcare that really has a really high rate of return in terms of not only health outcomes but cost savings. So more preventative care, more support for rural healthcare, telehealth, and that's predicated on good internet supply. I'm probably the only member of Congress who doesn't have broadband internet at home. I know what it's like to live in rural America. And I'm also a huge fan of programs that put more um, power and influence in medical nurse practitioners who are really able to do a lot of good work for their clients.
We've only got about a minute left, but now that you have entered the world of national politics, I have to ask you what you think about former President Trump announcing that he's running again.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild couple of years. I have to say, I think I think like most Americans, I'm just really tired of how ugly politics has gotten. I think I know so many people who frankly stopped listening to any news media when politics gets that ugly, and I think that's really bad for the long-term engagement of the electorate. And I just hope that we've kind of learned the lesson of how to keep things more civil and productive.
Congresswoman-elect Marie Gluesenkamp Perez, again, congratulations and thanks for being with us on Eye on Northwest Politics. Good luck in Washington, D.C.
Thank you so much.